TV cringe. I am one of your hosts, Delia, and I'm here with my real tight homegirl, the beautiful, the utterly gorgeous Beatrice.
That's me.
We are here to do our final recap of Love is Blind Season 10, The Reunion.
Oh my God, what a journey.
It has been a journey, and I've been having a lot of fun, and I actually did not have high hopes for this reunion because I've just been so jaded by the Suki of it all on the TLC, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Me too, actually.
By Love is Blind. But before we get into it, we do have to issue you a proper disclaimer. Please, hide your wife and hide your kids. We are an irreverent podcast
Obviously.
that does recaps of reality television. We're not here to have really serious conversations.
No.
We say stupid things. We have dumb opinions. And Beatrice loves to swear.
Wow.
So if you're sensitive,
Get out of here, you little baby.
you might want to find yourself another dumpster.
Smell you later.
But if you're ready to learn where the couples are on their love journey, welcome to this dumpster.
And if you're anxious to find out if love is truly blind, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Reality TV Cringe and join us on Patreon, patreon.com/realitytvcringe. The VIP dumpster is where it's at, and it's the best way you can support us.
Yes, indeed. And thank you in advance. If you are watching on YouTube, please do not forget to like and comment and share and subscribe, and also give us a hype, honey.
Please, it's
Do you have a
free.
hype to spare? We would love to get that hype from you. We really appreciate it. It allegedly helps us in the algorithm. And so thank you in advance.
Thank you.
Now, before we get into this final recap, Beatrice, I do have to ask you whether you have any takeaways.
I do appreciate Vanessa and Nick Lachey asking like hard questions to some of the jerks on the cast of this season. I will say just a little nod to the producers, maybe a little tip. It was a little long.
Yeah.
It was a long reunion, and I don't need to hear comments from people in the audience.
Right.
I don't give a shit. Sorry if that offends anybody from people who wanted to
God, no. Who
hear my
did?
thoughts. I'm just like, fast forward.
Who wants to hear from these lahoosers from previous seasons?
I
Not
don't
I.
care.
Absolutely. What is my takeaway? Well, I hate Bri.
Oh my God, really?
I hate Bri. I mean, hate is a strong word. I don't really have hate in my heart, generally speaking, but I don't like the kind of woman that Bri is. And I've seen her in some subsequent interviews, and she's just as bitchy as ever.
Really?
And I just would never want to hang out with her in the real world. And I don't think she's shit. That's
Fair.
my takeaway.
Fair.
Fuck girls like Bri.
She's not a girl's girl.
Not
whatsoever.
at all. No. Neither is Priyanka.
No.
And I don't think Ashley is either.
I don't think so either.
So without further ado, let's get into our recap of Love is Blind Season 10, The Reunion. Take it away, Beatrice.
Well, first, I thought we could start off with a little roast of everybody's outfits.
Yes, please.
If you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. I would love it.
So first we had Britney's outfit in the little black dress with the sequins and everything. What'd you think about her overall fit?
I thought it was really pretty.
Yeah.
I loved the dress on her. Her body is obviously banging.
Banging.
I didn't necessarily love the hair.
Me neither.
I mean, I'm not necessarily like with my finger on the pulse of what's trendy for
Yeah.
you young girls or anything like
Me
that, but
neither.
I just didn't, looked kind of matronly in that regard. I think I would have liked to see it down and flowy, but I just thought she
Yeah.
was so pretty.
I mean, she's so gorgeous. I'm just like, Devonte, you're so fucking stupid. But like, whatever. Then we had Christine in her little gray dress. Me, I didn't really like the dress personally, but I think she's gorgeous. Like, she's so pretty. Her hair was nice. Her makeup was on point.
Yeah, I think with the dress, I mean, I think it was a nice enough style, but it was just boring. And I think
Yeah.
that's largely attributable to the color.
Yeah.
Like if it were a different, like vibrant sort of color, I would have liked it better. I thought her
Yeah.
hair was nice. I thought her makeup was nice. I think she's a beautiful girl.
Me too. What about Emma in her dark blue dress?
Yeah, I thought she looked pretty. You know, I recently saw a picture of Emma on Instagram and she had like blonde highlights
Ooh.
in her hair and it was kind of feathering out
Pretty.
like a la Farrah Fawcett from back in the day. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I know who that is.
Oh, okay. I
I'm
don't
not
know.
that old.
But like she just had like different like hair. I thought it looked really pretty. I think this is nice. It's a little bit basic.
Yeah, it's kind of like high school prom. It's giving that. But I thought she was really pretty. Her makeup was really nice. And then what about Amber in her light blue?
There were a lot of sparkles
Yeah.
on that dress, but of course we know that her daughter loves sparkles. I thought that it was very form-fitting, obviously. She's got a great body as well. Not that I'm here to comment on everybody's bodies. Not everybody can be out here like this, honey. Okay. But I thought her hair was kind of, she does this like weird little bouffant thing with the top, like a bump it or something. I don't know
It's
what
totally a
she's
bump
doing,
it.
but it's
Yeah.
very old-fashioned. I actually think it ages her a little bit.
Yeah.
Her face definitely looked a little different, and I know we're going to talk about that. I was a little mystified as to what was going on with her face.
I'm not trying to like shame her appearance or anything like that, but her lips were looking a little different to me. People were like theorizing online, like maybe she got her fillers dissolved or something.
Right.
But she actually responded to a comment on Instagram, which we can put here if you want. But she had said, quote, "It was actually an androgenic hormonal response due to excessive cortisol levels following the months after the season. My face developed these deep cyst pockets, which kept causing infections. I was on several rounds of antibiotics and finally was put on spironolactone, which has slowly been helping. But unfortunately, areas like my upper forehead and upper lip are still healing." So I guess that's what was happening,
Holy crap.
which is crazy.
Cyst pockets. You know, that reminds me of Brandy Glanville. Are you keeping up with anything that's happening with Brandy? Do you know who
No.
Brandy Glanville is?
Is she a housewife?
She is. She was
Okay.
on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She was definitely a beautiful woman, late 30s, early 40s, but like something happened in the last couple of years. She calls it a parasite. Other people think that it's maybe her filler settling or being inflamed. I don't know, honey, but like her whole face has like divots in it and it's
What?
very misshapen and it's so freaking unfortunate. And I don't know if it's an inflammatory response, but what we've got Amber actually saying, like if it's a cortisol response, she's calling it stress. So she
Yeah.
was so stressed out after what happened between her and Jordan
Yikes.
and Love is Blind that she had some sort of an inflammatory process which caused that, which is sad.
That's really sad.
and I guess makes sense with what we're seeing on her face.
Yeah, which does make sense. And I mean, to be fair, like her overall demeanor is giving that like she's been stressed out. She looked a little bit thinner too.
Yeah.
So like I could see that as being like an overall stress response. And also fuck Jordan. But we'll
Okay.
get to that later.
Okay. Ooh.
Next up on the outfits, we have Ashley in that red ensemble.
Yes.
I liked the red dress. I thought it was very flattering.
Yeah, I thought her hair and her makeup was wonderful. I
Yeah.
thought she looked like a beautiful Barbie.
Yeah, definitely Barbie. And then we had Breezy in her brown deep V-neck dress.
Yeah, well, I think the color was fitting since it's the color of shit. I mean, I think she was
Damn.
pretty. I thought there was some weird contour on her nose or something.
Little
Like she
bit.
was trying to de-emphasize, but it was only overemphasizing. It's just hard for me to sing the praises of this woman in any way. Like obviously, objectively, she's a nice looking woman. Is she
Yeah.
medium ugly? We could have that conversation, but like I don't care about her.
Yeah, I thought like she looked the prettiest at the reunion than she did in the show.
Sure.
But that's not giving
Yeah.
like much because she's still shitty. And then we go on to the guy. So we had Big Dick Vic, and he looked nice. He looked handsome.
I loved that he matched with Christine.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's always handsome.
He is always handsome. I got no notes. Then we have Mike in his red suit.
I'm super bored with him.
He's so
He's the
blah.
wax lumberjack. He's a very blank person. Like I look at him and I don't really see him.
Yeah,
I'm sure he looked fine. I'm sure his mama loved it,
Eh.
but I'm bored.
mid. Then we have Jordan
Right.
in his suit. I don't know.
I mean, Jordan, He's a husky gentleman.
And that's fine.
We love our dad bods over here,
that's
okay?
cool.
He's got some rosacea issues. He's got a red face, which indicates he probably drinks a lot and eats a lot of inflammatory foods. He's okay.
He didn't brush his hair, and I'm just like, dude.
These guys don't feel like they have to try. At least
No.
Vic and Mike, they did try.
Yeah.
And even little Chris Fusco.
A little bit, I guess.
But yeah, I mean, I thought Jordan looked a little odd, actually.
I didn't like his jacket paired with his trousers and stuff. I just felt like it didn't match. I'm just like, who dressed you?
Yeah.
And then we have Connor in his frat boy-esque suit that's not tailored whatsoever. But, I mean, he looks okay. Like, it's like, whatever. Generic white guy.
I don't know. I just don't think that that suit was a hit. I think that his weird white shoes, maybe I'm of a different generation.
Well, they're like tennis shoes.
They didn't really match to me. Maybe that's the look. I don't know. I just feel like he's a very basic, middle of the road Ohioan.
Totally.
God bless. God bless.
And then we have Alex, who is totally casual.
I told you.
Didn't brush his beard, didn't brush his hair.
Looks like he's lost weight. He's having a hard time out in these internet streets.
Because Ashley totally destroyed him on national television.
Yes, and then we've all destroyed him since then.
Definitely. But I'm like, why are you wearing a suit?
I don't know. He's looking like he's going to happy hour after a long day as an insurance broker
TGI
on
Friday.
Casual Friday.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Then we have Devonte, also wearing tennis shoes and like business casual look. He's in all black. And I hate him.
Blabonte. There is literally no... There's no like bifurcation. There's no line. There's no neck.
It's giving
There's no
Big
neck.
Ed.
It's just head to shoulders. It's like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
It's like big old fucking melon-headed head and big fucking blabonte body, a vacant stare, weird cheeks, and I don't want to body shame, and I realize I'm going crazy, but like, why does he have all of these exes that are coming out of the woodwork? How can he date at all? He must be rich or something, because like, I don't understand what any woman would see in this absolute lahoozer. Not attractive.
Nope.
I mean, he was wearing black so that maybe it was easier not to see him. So I thank him for that.
Cringe.
But like, he's not attractive and his suit didn't work for him. And he's not a nice person.
No, not at all. And then last but certainly not least, we have little Chris Fusco. And he looks like a little hobbit. And his hair is so greasy and long. And he looks like he's also having a terrible time because he got destroyed on national TV and subsequently after.
Yes.
I don't think he looks nice, but he's trying to look nice because he's got an all black suit and black shoes and...
Yeah, I think that he looked fine. I think he looked as best as he could look. Like, I think he made some good choices in this reunion, which reminds me, we didn't see Jessica.
Oh, I didn't have her in there. Oops.
So she was wearing like some boy shorts, panty, underneath a somewhat see-through red dress.
Yes.
She was also giving revenge dress. She was
bit.
wearing her hair long. She had those absurd fake eyelashes, which I really have a grievance against. But whatever, you do you, mama. She looked pretty.
Yeah.
It was kind of desperado.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of like, look what you're missing, honey.
Look at me, I'm so hot.
And I was like, oh, you didn't need to do all that.
Right.
But she was certainly pretty.
She's definitely pretty. I don't like the dress. I don't like the whole like see-through panty look thing. I'm like, why? We don't need to do that.
Correct.
But she's giving like, look, I'm still young and hot.
And also, I want to prove something to Chris. But like, we don't have to prove ourselves to these little awful men.
No, we do not.
Normalize not doing that ever again.
Yes. So let us know what your thoughts are about the reunion looks and if you guys had the same opinions as us or if you liked or hated more
Who was
of
your
them.
best look? Who was your worst look?
Yes, please let us know in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get into the actual meat of the reunion and what was talked about. So we'll go based off of couples.
Okay.
First, we started with Vic and Christine.
And snoring.
Literally, I was like going astral.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm happy for y'all. I'm bored though.
Yeah.
But that's great. Y'all are still married and happily.
We're
and
visiting family.
That's great.
We're meshing.
That's awesome. You're matching. You got the chemistry. I do love that. I'm bored.
Yep.
Let's get into the drama. Starting with Amber and Jordan, who apparently their marriage only lasted a whole 4 months.
Yep.
They didn't even live together once because Jordan, Big Butt Jordan, didn't want to move out to wherever she was living. Mount Vernon. He didn't want to live out there. He didn't even really want to drive out there. He would, according to Amber, want her to drive to him 45 minutes away on the weekends, primed and ready to go, dressed to the nines, ready for fucking, and then fuck off back to Mount Vernon. So that was what ultimately led to the demise of their relationship, which is pretty sad. I think a lot of people were pretty bummed about it. I know you're like, I called it.
I did call it, and I have some nuanced opinions about this couple. First and foremost, we clocked Amber as being emotionally unregulated and having a massive amount of baggage and like trauma from her previous relationships and heck, maybe even from childhood. We saw her firsthand in a variety of the episodes, projecting that onto Jordan and also dealing with conflict or conflict resolution in a very toxic and immature way. And so that was telegraphed to us, and we could kind of see the writing on the wall. Like, this is not going to work long term. Like, you shouldn't be a toxic misandrist and then go on Love is Blind and try to find you a man. Like, you should want a man because you like a man or whatever. Like, so Amber has deep-seated issues, and Jordan also has issues. He's a lazy fucking dude.
Yep.
He expects Amber to come to him. He expects Amber to be kind of a sweet, lovely wife, and not willing to move in with Amber, not willing to spend more time with Amber other than like going to visit her on the weekends and sometimes during the week. Like, it just was never going to work. For Jordan, I think the crux of the issue is that Amber screamed at him and Amber drank a lot.
Yeah.
And so we can believe this as viewers because we saw some of that behavior in the show. But at the same time, I think that he was trying to blame Amber for everything. And she did herself no favors by like getting up and walking out and screaming at him.
I know.
She was doing so well. If she could have just kept it together, everybody would have been on her side. But because she had an emotional outburst, now you've got people online going like, look how crazy she is. Look, this is why Jordan left her.
Yep.
She should have kept that shit together. I wanted to talk to you about the story that Jordan was telling on stage about one of the weddings that he took Amber to. She shows up late, misses the ceremony. Within 30 minutes, she's blackout drunk. And he has to like remove her from the venue. She's arguing with him in the lobby. He ultimately puts her in the car and then goes back to the wedding. She wakes up hours later in a car. He still hasn't come out to check on her, take her home. And so she just Ubers herself back to Mount Vernon. What did you think of that?
I thought that was crazy. I feel like Jordan was probably telling most of the truth. Like maybe some of it was a little embellished, but Amber didn't really deny most of what happened there. Like she just kind of was like turning it around back onto her daughter and him walking out on her and her daughter and not taking their relationship seriously. And I think that he brought that up kind of in bad faith a little, like to just, like you had said, try to blame Amber for everything and shirk off some of the responsibility on him for being a lazy fuck ass. Like, what did you expect when you agreed to marry this woman who lived in Mount Vernon and you had no intentions of living out there? Like, what did you expect was going to happen? How did you expect this relationship to like actually work out? Like, you kind of suck for that. But at the same time, Amber's got issues, like major issues. Not only does she not trust any men, she hates men. She's obviously got a drinking problem or a substance abuse problem, and she's a mom and a nurse practitioner. So like, girl, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. I thought he was telling the truth with that.
Yes, but Amber has been on subsequent podcasts to include the Vile Files, in which she talks specifically about that wedding night. And what happened was, On the way to the ceremony, her car started to act up and it would like not go over 35 miles an hour. And she has the texts where she's texting Jordan and saying, look, something's happening with my car. I'm running a little bit late. So she
Oh.
informs him that she's got this car issue. She gets there, and by the time when she arrives, Jordan has already had 8 beers. So he's already drinking / drunk. She does admit, I did drink. I was having drinks. It wasn't 30 minutes and I was blackout, but I was drinking and I did get a little drunk. And Jordan's solution for that was just to stick me in a car for literal hours and never check on me. And the point she's making is like, I'm a drunk woman and you just dumped me in a car and then went back into the venue and partied all night with your friends and never like drove me home, got me an Uber. And even just to get an Uber is a dangerous situation for any woman sober, but also for a drunk woman. So you put her in a very precarious and I would say unsafe situation, and you're trying to act like it's all Amber. No, you didn't give a shit. You didn't take care of your wife. And even if you thought maybe it wasn't going to work out, you should have still treated her with
Respect.
and care.
And care, yeah.
Make sure she got home to Mount Vernon
That's
instead of
terrible.
just dumping her like that. Yeah. So she's like, come on now.
I believe that. I mean,
I believe it as well. She's not a liar.
No.
Like you can say a lot about Amber and she does have her flaws, but lying is not one of them. She will tell you what she thinks and she will tell the truth.
And she will spitball it and say the straight truth. I do appreciate that about her. I think she's got major problems though. Like she really needs therapy and she needs to like be single for a while
Yes.
and just learn to be okay with that. Because I think the problem with her is that she is so desperate for like a connection with another man or with another person. And so she gets into these relationships with these losers who like don't want to commit to her, who don't want to respect her whatsoever. And so she's constantly in this same cycle of like, I'm in a terrible relationship, and then they get introduced to my daughter, and then my daughter ends up hurt, and then she feels really terrible and feels guilty about that. And it's this constant thing. Like, girl, just be single. Just get a battery operated boyfriend and you'll be fine for a little while.
Go to therapy.
Go to therapy.
It's so weird to me that you have all of these professional people who like aren't in therapy
I
when
know.
they acknowledge that they have issues. Now, what did you think about Jordan not saying goodbye to Amber's daughter, Emma, and Amber having an issue with that? Because like, if you say that you loved her, if you say that you had a great relationship and you guys played Legos and you guys got along, like, why didn't you even say goodbye?
I just think it's indicative of him being just a lazy piece of shit. Like, not actually taking the situation seriously. I don't think he ever took Emma seriously, even though Amber brought Emma up at every single turn and expressly said every time, like, this is really important to me. I don't want to bring a man home to have my daughter get attached to for them to ultimately leave. Like, I don't want to put her through that because it's really gut-wrenching for me as a mom to have my kid go through that time and time again. Like, she brought that up a million times. I don't think Jordan ever took that fully seriously.
She also put herself on Love is Blind.
Yeah, no, for sure.
She also chose a guy who said out loud, my deal breaker is no kids.
Right.
So she made those choices as well.
Definitely. And like, that goes back to my other point of like, you're constantly putting yourself in these situations where you're choosing losers and then you get the same result. So maybe don't do that.
Right.
Maybe go to therapy and learn to love yourself first before you allow another man into your life and into your daughter's life. I do think that she probably has a habit of weaponizing her daughter a little bit in these relationships because she brings it up as a way to kind of deflect the conversation from her being drunk at that wedding, because Jordan brought that up totally in bad faith to make her look bad. And
I don't know. Is it fair? I mean, if she's
Well, it
drinking a
is.
lot and if it's affecting their relationship, then
Well,
I
yeah.
would mention it as well.
Yeah, but like, if he wasn't giving the full context of the fact that he was also drunk and just
Right.
put her in the car and
True.
didn't care about her, like he was bringing it up in bad faith, I think. But she brought up Emma of like, why did you come into her life and you didn't even say goodbye? And then he's like, well, see, you weaponize your daughter all the time. And then he turns to the camera and is like, well, Emma, I'm sorry. Like, we had such a great relationship and I care about you. I'm sorry I did this. Like, I don't think he actually cares.
I don't know. All I know is that it's better that they're not together.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though it apparently affected Amber much more than it seems like it affected Jordan,
That's the
because
thing.
Jordan has already moved on. He got into another relationship. Oh, and that was something else that came up in her podcast appearance. Apparently, there is some potential evidence that Jordan was dating this girl that he's now with while they were still married and still had an agreement to be married.
Oh, that's shitty.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
lame.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Amber, and I'm not trying to come off like, all of this is her fault and everything. It's just like at a certain point in time, when you are finding yourself in the same pattern over and over again in
Yeah.
your relationships, maybe you need to reflect on, why do I keep putting myself in these situations? Why do I keep choosing men who are telling me over and over again that they just like don't want to have children, or they don't take life seriously, or they don't want to move out to Mount Vernon? Why am I picking this guy on a show like Love is a Blind and then agreeing to marry him?
It just takes me back to Neville Goddard. Everything is just you pushed out.
Yep.
And so if everything that you experience in your life is just you pushed out, and you keep attracting the same medium ugly mid-ass men who treat you poorly, then it's not to like take the blame off them and put it on you, but like you do have to at some point start looking at what inside of you is drawing these men to you, attracting them to you, and why you are willing to put up with that bullshit.
Exactly.
And I think you can do that in therapy, Amber, and I hope you get that therapy. And Jordan, I don't ever need to see you on my television again.
Ever.
Put your CPAP on, hoodie, and go have yourself a good time away
Seriously.
from here.
Seriously. Next we have Bri, aka Breezy, and Connor. And unfortunately, they are still together, but they're not living together. Apparently, he like lives in the same apartment building as her, but they're like neighbors or something. So she doesn't let him live in her apartment with him because he's got a keg or whatever. But she loves him so much, apparently, and Connor still loves her, unfortunately.
Yeah, she says that she sees it going all the way to the altar. And that
Okay.
Connor's her man, and this is going to be forever. And I don't believe it for a minute. I think she is going to dump Connor. She's giving me BPD vibes. And I just think Connor is going to be heartbroken. And I don't understand what Connor sees in this woman. She will not let you move into her apartment.
Yeah, that's whack.
And you're willing to what? Did you sell your house? I really want to know.
I really hope he didn't.
You're willing to what? Put your life on hold?
For
Move
this
yourself
woman?
into an apartment so that you can eat the crumbs that she leaves behind for you?
Right.
Like, get some self-respect, Connor. Like, we don't see everything. Maybe you have a great relationship with this
Maybe.
girl. But from what I can see of Bri on my television, in the show, like, she is not a good person. She does not treat you well. She did not take enough responsibility for the way that she spoke to Connor.
No.
No, not at all. When Nick brings it up and asks her, like, did you watch this back? And did you have any regret? She's like, obviously we banter, but like, I did realize that, not all the things that I say need to be mean or whatever. I forget what she didn't say enough though. She didn't own the shit that she did, because what she was doing was dehumanizing him. She was putting him down. She was completely awful to him. And I didn't see any acknowledgement of that from her. I just don't like her, but I don't even not like her because of Connor. I don't like her because of what she did with Chris.
Yep.
Putting up with all that bullshit. And I don't like her because of how she failed to show up for not just Jessica, but also for Britney. But we'll get to that.
Yes, I agree completely. I did not think she took enough responsibility with the Chris stuff whatsoever. And then she didn't take any responsibility with the shit that happened with Devonte when we get to that. I just don't really like people who do that, who kind of skirt around their actions in that. Like, I didn't appreciate it whatsoever. Like, and then we have Nick calling out Chris and showing the flashbacks of Chris and Breezy's conversation when they were all at the weird millennial bar in the last few episodes. And we didn't even get to like the most inappropriate parts of that conversation where, like, I don't know, Breezy talked about how bad Connor was in bed. So we're not going to talk about that whatsoever.
No.
And Nick is like asking Connor, like, how do you feel about it? And I will say, to Connor's credit, Connor's like, well, I don't think about Chris at all. Like, he's dead to me, basically. Apparently, Chris and Connor were like BFFs in the pod.
Right.
And then when he found out what he was doing with Breezy, he's like, wow, this guy's an asshole. Like, fuck this dude. I don't even think about him anymore. But he's like also skirting around Breezy's responsibility. He's like, yeah, she's a grown woman. Like, whatever. It's fine. Like, she can say what she wants. And I know she loves me. Like, it's all good. I'm like, but did you see the part where she talked about you were bad in bed?
Yeah.
Okay, or just, okay, that's fine. All right, whatever.
Like he doesn't have a shiny spine.
No.
He is coming across as a bit of a simp. I need for him to believe in himself and to want more for himself. But right now, he thinks Bri is absolutely the pinnacle. She's everything. And he's so happy to be with her. So like, okay, God bless. God bless them.
God bless, I guess.
What am I going to do?
I did think it was funny when Nick Lachey was like, Connor, Ohio man to Ohio man, we believe in the bro code. Do you think that Chris broke the bro code? And I'm like, what is that, an Ohio thing? Like, what is this? So cringe. But this gets us into Nick Lachey going after Chris, which I did appreciate. I thought this was pretty great.
Yes.
So Nick says to Chris, like, it was totally brutal to watch your treatment of Jessica. Like, what the fuck do you have to say, you little weasel man? And of course, Chris is like, it was tough. It was tough watching that back. And like, I'm ashamed by it, but that's it. Like he has nothing to say.
I feel like somebody got a hold of him. I won't go so far as to say like a PR management team or anything like that, but maybe. But like somebody told him to say as little as possible, to not emote, to not be upset, to not be angry, to not talk about anything. Talk as little as possible. And honestly, that was the best advice that anybody could give him, because he didn't say anything to get in any kind of trouble. He was appropriately apologetic. I didn't buy his apology. Don't get me wrong. But like he said the things that he should have said to hopefully on his end, like restore any reputation that he might have lost to me professionally. I have to imagine personally, like the friends in his life, the women in his life know exactly who it is that he is. And he is an absolute devil and a demon. But professionally, to come out on a national platform and show yourself to lack integrity to that degree, like you're gonna lose me as a client if you're looking for a home for me because you're now all of a sudden a realtor because you had to leave your other job because they were garnishing your wages. Like if now you're a realtor and you're my realtor, like I'm firing your ass. There is no way I'm ever going to work with you now or in the future. So he had to do some kind of damage control, and I think for him that meant saying as little as possible, which is what he did. And I think it went as good as it could have gone for him.
Yeah, because it did take off some of the heat off of him and put it on to other people, like in the episode, like with Alex when we get to him after this, and Devonte later. Like it kind of makes him look, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but like it makes him look,
say it in a bad way.
It makes him look a little bit less awful by shutting the fuck up.
Correct.
And he does kind of apologize to Connor. He's like, I'm sorry I came on to Breezy for, too aggressively. He tries to give Jess like kind of a fake PR apology because of course, like when Nick is addressing Chris about this, then we have to bring Jess into the conversation, and we have both Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey calling out Chris for being a tiny piece of shit. And it's pretty great. I do like that.
Yes.
But you can tell that Chris was just like, I think he was mortified, number one.
I think he was Xannied.
He probably was.
I think he took a couple of Xanax and he's just like, I'm chilling.
I'm
I'm not saying anything. I'm shutting the fuck up and I'm just going to sit here and trip.
Well, because wouldn't you? Like, if you were this guy, like, I would be shitting bricks, like having to sit on this cast and be called out on national TV. Like, it's terrible. But also, you shouldn't have said the shit that you said. You know what I mean?
What did you think when they kept coming around to his insecurities? And Jessica spoke a little bit about this. Like, when people are dealing with these deep insecurities, they try to take other people down or make them feel less than in order for them to feel better about themselves. And then Nick tied that to the day that Chris went to Jessica's home and saw, oh, she's balling out here. She's got a 4-bedroom mansion and I don't live this way. And actually, I'm in $60,000 worth of credit card debt and they're garnishing my wages and I'm not working at that job anymore. And so it was this crisis of insecurity, financial instability, which Jessica actually called
She
out.
does.
His financial instability, which of course he denies,
He did deny
but
it.
he does not elaborate, which was smart. He doesn't go into it and try to defend himself. He's just like, no, that's not what it was.
Well, he can't really defend it because he is in debt.
Yeah,
And
but
it has
he
come out.
doesn't want people to think that the
Yeah.
reason he was insecure was financial. He would rather we think that it was an overemphasis on the physical, which it never was.
It never was at all. And like Nick Lachey does try to call him out on that too, because he knows that that's bullshit. He's like, so you're saying it was because of the physical chemistry, but why were you texting Jess just before you went and saw her house that your guys' connection was on fire and that you loved her so much and that you had such a crazy connection with her, but then once you saw her house, oh, I'm not attracted to you because you don't do Pilates enough. Like Nick does try to call him out on that, and Chris does kind of skirt around it, and he's like, no, that had nothing to do with it. I'm just an emotionally immature person, and Jess, I'm really sorry for being emotionally immature, and you deserve better, and like you're actually really beautiful though. Like I just want you to know that.
Right.
And of course Jess is like, thanks for the apology, and thanks for showing me who you were quickly.
Yes.
I did appreciate that, but I do think she was right on the nose.
Oh,
He's
yes.
totally financially insecure.
Yes.
We called that out when that happened.
Yes.
Like, he is definitely an insecure Napoleon little man.
Yes,
who's
and
broke.
that connects his ability to provide, his ability to like go to the Four Seasons
Yep.
and have a Charles Schwab account or whatever. That is directly connected to his idea of masculinity, what it means to be a real man. And because he lacks these things, and he knows that he does, that's the insecurity. It's that
Yep.
he can't provide on that level for a woman of quality like Jess. And so let's make it about Pilates. Let's
Yep.
make it about, I'm 30 years old. I need to fuck for the next 60 years. Like, let's make it about that and try and obfuscate away from the fact that in my own eyes, I'm not a real man. Plus I'm 5'7", 5'6", 5'4".
Exactly.
So he's already at a disadvantage in his own mind.
Yep.
See, now if he had come correct, if he had showed up and been self-deprecating, if he had been truly loving, I mean, she would have overlooked a multitude of his flaws because
of course.
she was in love with him. I
Yep.
mean, he could have had it all, and he blew the bag.
He did it
He blew it.
because he's so insecure.
He did say something like, I've never had an emotional connection like the one I had with you, and I don't know if I'll ever have it again.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
I wondered if he meant it.
I think he did.
It was like a moment of rare insight for him.
I think he did personally, because if he is so deeply insecure, like I think he knew deep down, like this is a woman of quality and I am such a piece of shit that I could never amount to her. And like, that's sad. Like if you think about it in that context, but I think that that's where he was coming from. Like I am a lowlife compared to Jessica, who is a whole doctor, has a 4-bedroom home,
Is
makes
beautiful.
money. She is beautiful.
Is lovely. She's talking about like the loving spaces
Yep.
that she intentionally creates for the people that she values. Like she seems like she's thoughtful and intentional with her energy and with her life.
Yep.
And like you just completely squandered that.
Yep.
And will you ever have that opportunity again?
Nope.
It felt like he was coming into the realization that like, wow, I may not. Plus, everyone has seen who you really are. So who's
Exactly.
going to ever trust you in the future?
Exactly. Nobody. The answer is nobody. And so then we have another flashback to end this segment a little bit of Chris talking to Breezy and Ashley, and Priyanka, I think, was there too, at the Millennial Bar, where he was like going off about Jessica and their sex life being so horrible. And this is to highlight mainly how Breezy and Ashley aren't really girls. They weren't defending Jess in that moment whatsoever. And then after the flashback, we do have Ashley apologizing to Jess, which I did appreciate.
I did as well, because she jumped into it.
She did.
She didn't wait for somebody to ask her what her reaction was. She's like, let me just say right now that was inappropriate. I should not have done that. I should have been there for you. Bri didn't do that.
She did not at all.
Bri was just watching from the sidelines.
Yep, she didn't say shit. So I did appreciate, that's points for me for Ashley with
Yes.
that she did acknowledge that. And then to end the Jess and Chris segment and the Chris and Breezy segment, or Connor and Breezy, sorry. Jess is now dating some dude named Harmal, who I guess was also in the pods, but he was a reject. Nobody wanted to date
He
him or
chose to
whatever.
walk away, according to him. Like,
Yeah.
things got pretty intense between him and Jessica.
Oh, no.
He was like afraid of the connection, didn't know if he could take care of her heart in that way. So he made the choice not to continue.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of bullshit.
I
And then
wonder.
he saw how Jessica was actually beautiful in real life and then was like, oh, actually, Jessica, we had such a great connection. And now that Chris has dumped you, like, let's fuck because I know you're rich. And I guess Harmal's a doctor too. So they have that in common. And like this whole thing to me felt a little performative because Harmal
Yeah.
is like in the audience being like, Jess is so fucking hot. She's so beautiful and amazing. She's the whole package. Like, Chris, you really missed out. Like, it felt very
Yeah, there was just something about it that was cringy.
The whole
And
thing.
I hope for Jessica's sake that he is real
Me too.
and authentic and that he really can see the lovely person that she is, because honestly, I believe her when she says she's intentional about creating these loving spaces and that she's trying to be a good person on the planet and that this is what her heart is. You
Yeah.
know, like I want the best for her, therefore. But like when I looked at this Harmal guy, I was just like, first of all, your hair is very strange. Second of all, I don't know about you actually. And I think he's quite a bit younger than her. I think he's even younger than Chris.
He looked young.
So I don't know. I'm hopeful for her.
Me too.
I hope it's everything that she wants it to be.
Me
and
too.
I hope that she's happy.
Me too. And then we move on to Mike and Emma, which were kind of boring.
And yeah, I'm bored.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The kids again. I don't care.
The only thing to me that was interesting
Yeah.
was that apparently, according to Mike, him and Emma talked before they went to the altar and they had agreed that they were both going to say no, that they were not going to get married, they weren't ready for it or whatever. But then when it came to the actual altar wedding day, Emma changed her mind. And in her opinion, it was a declaration of love, and she wanted to show him her commitment to having kids with him one day. So she made sure to say yes at the altar. And according to Mike, he was blindsided by that. He didn't appreciate it. He felt like even her changing her mind on that day was just indicative of the fact that she's always going to change her mind.
Mm-hmm.
She's very wishy-washy, and she's not committed to it and committed to having kids with him. And so they ultimately broke up, and now he's dating some other chick
Who was in the audience, who they panned to. Then they panned back to Emma, and she did not look happy.
No, she did not.
She looked really unhappy that he has moved on, that he's
Yeah.
found another love. This was the segment, though, where Vanessa says something to them like, yeah, that's why we ask you guys to wait until you're at the altar to actually make your decision. Because when you're at the altar, it's like all of the emotionality comes rushing in, which I'm like, no.
Ew, yeah.
Like, I'm going to try and make that decision before I get to the altar. Like,
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to marry my husband when I said yes to the proposal.
Exactly.
And then we got married. Like, don't wait until the moment of the altar to come to that decision, which is what I think happened with Jordan and Amber, which I said last week, because
Yep.
I fully believe Jordan went to the altar wanting to say no.
Yep.
But he was overcome with this false emotionality and how gracious Amber was being. He ultimately said yes. And then,
Yep.
of course, it didn't work out. So I just thought that was an interesting point. Like, they're asking these people to wait in their minds to make that decision.
But that's not realistic.
It's not prudent.
No, not at all. So I'm glad to hear that they're not together, though.
Yeah, and I don't care anymore. I don't ever want to see them again on my television. I just
No.
don't care.
And Emma, just stay in therapy. Girl,
You need it.
for real. Then we move on to Ashley and Alex. And of course, we have to grill Alex from the start about him being a liar and him using a bunch of word salad and him not being 100% authentic. And
Unpopular opinion over here.
I know you've got an unpopular opinion.
My unpopular opinion is that he approached this in exactly the right way,
You know, I agree with you.
because he said, "What'd I lie about? Show me where I lied.
Show
Tell
me
me
the
where it
receipts."
happened," because I did not lie. And the way he ended up being able to frame it was, no, she was always asking me these questions and I
Yeah.
kept giving her the same answer, but I'm like trying to bring up more details because she keeps asking these questions and I'm getting interrogated by her father. It's not the fact that I'm lying. It's that you're constantly grilling me, and it's because you were with somebody for 5 years. That dude didn't treat you well and he cheated on you. And I'm really sorry about that, but that's not something I did to you. I never cheated.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? That actually makes sense.
Oh, definitely.
Now, do I think that he's a liar, though? I do.
Yeah.
Do I think that he was lying at Ashley? Yes, I do. And I think she knew it. She could feel it. She clocked it. She was intuitive about it. But she could not point to a specific time where he actually lied. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to show up to the conversation with your dad, not polished, not rehearsed?
Right.
Like, it was important. Of course I showed up that way.
Yeah. Of course I had my answers ready like it was an interview because her dad was kind of interviewing him and cross-examining him. Like, and her dad was coming on strong even at that first interaction. Like, it was a lot of questions to be asked of. I do think there's two things going on. Alex is a bit of a word salad,
Yes.
corpo, like, loser who just always has to over-explain things to make himself seem smarter or more professional.
That's an emotional tick, though. It doesn't necessarily mean he's intentional about it.
Yeah, and it probably is because of his own insecurities and stuff like you had mentioned last week. Like, he feels the need to overcompensate in that way, and it comes off to, like, everybody else, like, very disingenuous, very rehearsed, and annoying. But Ashley, I think, is also a bit annoying. Like, I could totally see her asking him 1,000 questions all the time because she wants to get the facts right. Remember, she is a Virgo, so she's constantly overanalyzing things, cross-referencing, and going crazy because she wants to get the 100% truth. But the fact of the matter is, like, life is not black and white like that. There's a lot of gray. And I'm sure with Alex being a total hobo, homeless, not having an actual lease and everything, like, it's hard to get all of the details 100% right. And he talks about this in the sense of, like, this was the main issue affecting their physical intimacy. Like, it wasn't just the fact that he, you know, had a specific type of girl that he was primarily attracted to. It was also the fact that Ashley was always on his ass about everything, and so he couldn't get hard.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's basically what he
it kind of comes down to that, right?
Yeah.
I think that she wounded him at the altar.
I think so too.
And he was coming into the reunion wanting to pay that back a little bit. But the way I'm coming around as a mom and as an old head, okay, I'm 57 years old, everybody. Like, I've been on the planet for a long, long time. You know what people do when they've been neglected? And what does it mean to be neglected? It means you haven't been tended to. You really haven't been seen. You've been invisible. Is you kick up a fuss. And you can do that by acting out, acting poorly. And sometimes people do that through talking a lot. Actually, when people use words like and like, and there's a lot of filler words in the sentences they use, it's often indicative to growing up with, like, a lot of siblings and, like, having to fight for a position in the conversation or a place in the conversation, and or like not having people pay attention to you. So you want to continue to talk so that they're listening and so that they see you. And when I look at a guy like Alex and the way that he speaks and his emotional tics, it's kind of giving neglect. And I said last week, I would not be a bit surprised if this boy was abused as a child in ways beyond neglect personally. But I feel like it's a function of his inner child needing to be seen and heard. And so he's just saying fucking words all the time. You know, and he relies on words like confidently and candidly and respectfully or whatever his stupid words are. But it's because inside, I think he's dying to be seen. Yeah. And I think with Ashley, she's a damaged person in her own right.
Totally, yeah.
She's coming from a very egocentric father and a quiet mother. What was going on in that home? Right. And a father who is very direct and very powerful. And so she's got this sense of herself that's very interesting. And we would wonder how that would assert itself in a relationship with a guy like Alex. And he probably just didn't know how to handle that. And I don't want to give him to, he fucking lied. I believe it. I think he's probably a cheater. Like, don't get me wrong here. I'm just saying when these two personalities collide, there's going to be a lot of weird shit that's happening. And that's what I think's going on with Alex. I don't think it's as black and white as he's a bad person.
Yeah.
Or she's
agree.
just a fucking vapid Barbie doll. I think there's so many other psychological things going on, which is why I think he showed up to the reunion to kind of get back at her for embarrassing him and humiliating him in front of his family and friends. And I kind of think he did it. He kind of came out better than she did. She looked superficial and petty, rolling her eyes and being like,
yeah.
Like, and he's just like, actually just tell me what I did though. You can't though, can you? Because I didn't do it.
Exactly.
I lived in Austin 4 times. What?
Like, bitch, what? Yeah, and she even talks about it in the reunion, like, well, I knew he was going to reject me at the altar, so I made sure to interrupt him in his vows, and I made sure to go first, so that way I could reject him first. So I'm like, okay, that's what I said last week. I'm like, you're totally prepping this huge fucking speech that you didn't really need to do, but you did this as a way to prove to yourself, prove to Alex that, like, no, actually, like, I'm an empowered woman and I'm beautiful and whatever, and, like, your opinions mean nothing to me. You could have just ended it before going to the altar. You could have just,
like Devonte did,
called off the wedding. Like,
right.
You didn't have to do it this way. You didn't have to humiliate him and then call out his integrity and make it seem like he was this cheating asshole, because there's also rumors going around now after this reunion that apparently, allegedly, Ashley was cheating on Alex the entire time.
The sneaky link.
Yeah, so, like, okay, pot calling the kettle, girl.
The real problem here is that you weren't his type.
Exactly.
And that he didn't think you were pretty. Like, you can't understand a world where some guy doesn't think you're the hottest woman in the room.
I think that's
the problem.
That's totally
She just
it.
couldn't take the ego damage.
Yep.
Emotional damage.
Actually,
of him not thinking she was like the hottest girl in the world.
Yeah, because she thought he was the hottest guy ever.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes.
Like, oh, I thought you were so fucking hot and, like, you're not attracted to all of this. And it's like, well, maybe he's not. Okay, sue him. He likes busty Latinas.
Well, and he tried to say, like, at some point, though, if I'm living with you and you keep taking me to task and trying to do my inventory all the time, like, I'm not going to be as physically responsive to you.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It's just a complete mess.
Totally.
But it's over now.
Yep.
And they can move on. And I have a little bit of sympathy for Alex. Come at me.
You know, you're kind of making me have more sympathy for him, too, because I totally can see it. Like, with how he overcompensates in his language and stuff. And it also can bring up a bigger conversation about, like, how men's issues really aren't talked about and men's emotionalities aren't really talked about. Like, we don't really talk about men's mental health and their feelings and stuff, and men are taught not to feel and not to be emotional, so they do overcompensate in these dumb fucking ways, like through big cars and, you know, I've got a big dick, I make a lot of money.
Fuck, I'm 30 years old.
Exactly.
I don't give a flying fuck.
Exactly. I don't know. So,
well, yeah, nobody taught these men how to be in touch with their feelings and to express them and to work through them.
Exactly.
Whether that's like a global issue with men, we could argue that, or we could talk about that. But like with these men in particular, I do think that's going on.
I agree. And the other thing that came out of Ashley and Alex's segment is that apparently Alex lives in Phoenix, Arizona now, and he's got a roommate who happens to be Devonte. And that segues into the last couple of the season, Britney and Devonte. And this was kind of, I don't know, I thought this was pretty fucking juicy.
It was.
I thought this was really great.
It was.
So apparently, Britney was still hopeful even after Devonte called off the wedding, because he was telling her, according to Britney, that we're still going to be together. We're still going to be engaged. We're going to get married one day. I just want to work on our relationship. I need to work on myself. I need to take a 2-week vacation where I don't talk to you at all 100% of the time. Like, I need to ghost you for 2 weeks and see if I still want to be with you. And Britney went along with it. I think Nick and Vanessa kind of call her out for that. They're like, why were you simping after Devonte? Like, what the fuck? He was obviously not into you from the jump. But Britney apparently had no idea what Devonte's true feelings were about her until after she saw, like, the episodes of stuff come out where he was interviewed one-on-one, and he was talking about how Britney was his shadow and she was just a little pressuring him too much, and he just was getting cold feet, and he was put off by the fact that she had bought her wedding dress already. And she is very clear to clarify, like, I disclosed that in the pods. I don't know why that was an issue after the fact. This is all a bunch of bullshit. And she kind of starts going off on him.
Mm-hmm.
And this was really good.
I thought so as well. I don't think he was prepared for it at all. Here is another man who is not a good orator.
No.
He doesn't know how
Not
to
at all.
speak up or represent himself. But I do just want to register for the dumpster that even though he didn't ghost her on their wedding day, he did end up ghosting her.
He did.
Because he told her, like, no, yeah, we're totally still together. And then just bounced.
Yep.
And didn't clarify, was not direct with her, didn't tell her straight up, hey, I'm not into it, is never going to happen. And then we get to the trip to Austin.
Yes, because apparently at one point near the end of their relationship, Devonte said he had to take a work trip to Michigan. And Brittany's like, okay, that's fine. Whatever.
But at the time that he says this, as far as Britney is concerned, they are together.
They're
They are
together.
still engaged.
Yep. Still engaged, still going to marry each other. But then apparently Devonte didn't go to work. He didn't go to Michigan. He went to Austin to go see a concert or something.
Rufus.
And it was apparently he was invited by Ashley and Breezy, who were going to the same concert.
They were out for dinner one night with Devonte, and mentioned that they were going to Austin. And he's like, oh, I like Rufus to Seoul as well. And they're like, oh, you ought to come with us. And so they invited him, which is just all weird anyway, because Bri and Ashley and Priyanka, I don't know who was at the dinner. They're all out to dinner, but Connor's not there, which is fine. You can go out without your partner or whatever. But like, it was never relayed back to Connor
Yeah.
that they had invited Devonte, who ended up going.
Yeah, because Connor even said on the panel, like, I thought this was a girls' trip. Because it was originally, it sounded like, to me, it kind of felt like Devonte invited himself. It kind of felt like they mentioned they were going to Rufus. And he's like, oh, I like Rufus too. Maybe I should buy a ticket and go out there. Because we find out in the reunion that when he went to Austin, he allegedly booked an Airbnb.
Uh-huh.
And then when he got there, the Airbnb didn't confirm his reservation, so he apparently had to stay at Priyanka's apartment.
Where Ashley and Bri also were.
Mm-hmm. And it seemed like Brittany found all of this out through Amber, who, again, she's the only girl's girl on this fucking
Correct.
panel. The only one that cares. And I don't know how Amber found out.
Jordan.
Seemed like Jordan found out, and then he didn't want to say where he got the information from. So all of this to surmise is that Ashley and Bri and Priyanka suck.
Totally.
Like, what the hell?
Because Brittany's point here was, but y'all knew that I was engaged to him. I had a ring on my finger. You knew that we were in a relationship. Did nobody think to maybe just call me and say, hey, by the way, we invited Devonte to Austin, and or Devonte just invited himself
Right.
to Austin. So just heads up in case you don't know that. None of those girls thought to even consult with Brittany, who that was her fiance.
Yep.
So Brittany has a real big problem with that. So Devonte goes down there, and to me, Devonte's going down there for Ashley.
Ooh.
I think Ashley is his type. She's whiter than white. She's almost translucent. There's no melanin in her at all. And we know that Devonte loves that most of all.
Yep.
And so he's going down there, I think, to shoot his shot with Ashley.
Ew.
I think so. And so he makes up some story about having an Airbnb, which he never booked, he never had. And it's because Priyanka's like, you need to get yourself an Airbnb. You can stay here tonight or whatever, but it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You need to get your own place. So the very next day he does do that. He's shady.
He is shady.
He's a fuck boy. And it's shocking to me as the old lady in the room that there's anybody cracking it open for that Toltec headed loser.
I mean, really though? Like, there's nothing redeemable about this man to me whatsoever. I don't see how any woman could get wet for him. Like, really, I'm like, he's
Period.
so fucking bad. And he can't ever be 100% authentic in anything that he's saying. He's always like giving half truths.
Yes.
He's always lying by omission. And I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, just say it with your full fucking chest, dude. Why do you have to lie about everything? It's because he can't be 100% honest about anything.
He's a coward.
He is a coward. And so we have this argument about the girls' trip / work trip, and Britney is pissed off, rightfully so, by these women who didn't tell her anything. And, you know, you can make an argument like maybe Devonte was lying to the other girls and telling them like they were still together, because Bri does kind of say that. Ashley does kind of say that, like, you know, Devonte was giving us that you guys were still together.
No, that they were broken up. I thought they thought they were broken. I don't remember.
It was very
Okay.
very like wishy-washy, because at one point they did say like, you know, Devonte was telling us that you guys were still together, but then at another point we hear that like Devonte had told them that that Britney and him were
No
splitting
longer
up,
together, right?
and that they were no longer together. So obviously the root starts with Devonte in being not truthful, and then he gets everybody else in this mess. That's what I kind of think, but I also think that Breezy and Ashley kind of suck.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a question, because at one point he's saying, no, we're together, and at another point it's like, no, we're not together, then I'm immediately on the phone with Brittany
Exactly.
going, hey, heads up, girl. Even before that,
Exactly.
I am talking to Brittany first.
Yep.
And saying, hey, I went out to dinner with Devonte in the first place. And hey, while we were at dinner, Devonte invited himself along on our trip just to let you know.
Yep.
Like, none of those girls even thought to do that.
Yeah, and that's
And
lame.
you can hear Bri actually say on stage, well, I don't have to ask permission to go on a trip with somebody.
Okay.
She doesn't understand.
No, she doesn't
She's
get
so
it.
busy platforming men all the time. She's
Yep.
so busy like looking for her alpha male that she could give two shits about the women in her life. And when we were talking with Jessica also like crying, saying this, like, what hurt me more than the terrible things Chris said was the fact that these women entertained it for as long as they did. And then, of course, we had Ashley jump in at that point, but Bri never said anything.
Exactly.
She does not care.
No, she doesn't at all. And so after we kind of clear up, not really, but like we kind of get over this conversation about the girls' trip, then we have Brittany's dad in the audience asking Devonte questions, which I really loved, because we saw in the show Brittany's dad actually really liked Devonte for some reason. He thought he was a really nice guy and he was really happy that he was going to marry Brittany. But at the reunion, we have Brittany's dad being like, were you telling me the truth? Did you lie to me?
First, though, he's like, how are you doing, Devonte?
I hated that though.
Are you okay?
That was so
You're
cringe.
catching a lot of heat right now.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I hated that. As soon as he said that, I was not listening to Brittany's dad anymore. And I felt like he was very performative. And I was like, not interested in his cringe commentary.
Well, I did like that he did end up calling him out though. Like, cause he's like, Brittany gave you 5 options to get out of the relationship. Like, why didn't you take any of those options? She gave you multiple times.
I don't quit. I'm not a quitter.
That was cringe. Devonte's answers, he could not answer her dad. Because the truth of the matter is that you didn't like Brittany from the jump. You went through this whole experiment because you wanted to get clout and you wanted to make money from Netflix or whatever. And then you dumped her and you ghosted her. But you couldn't even do it in a manly or respectful way. You just ghosted.
Right.
It's cringe. And then we find out that Devonte is now engaged and is going to be a dad.
And whoever he's engaged to is living in Ohio, I think in the house that he has there, based on what he said. But in the meantime, he's actually living
In
in Arizona with Alex.
Yeah.
So you have a woman who's pregnant in Ohio that you knocked up, honey, and you're not even living with her. So she's fending for herself. I don't even know if she's living in your home or if she's living in her own home or her parents' home, but you left her and now you're living in Phoenix, Arizona with fuckwit Alex.
Don't you care about your Toltec baby?
You have nothing to say for yourself. I really wanted to be a husband and a father. Well, here's your opportunity.
And you're not even there.
And there's so much chatter online about how he was cheating on this pregnant girl with the ex that came out and talked about how he didn't like black women. Like there's just like all these women in the background. And again, I have to ask you, young, beautiful women, like what are we doing with men like Devonte? Why are we cracking it open for this guy? Why aren't we requiring people like this to wear condoms?
Yeah.
I just don't understand, but I guess it is what it is. But he's all upset. Devonte is all upset, guys, about the coverage that he's been getting on the internet, and in particular, the podcast commentary that he's been receiving.
I hope he's listening right now.
I hope you're listening, you absolute asshole. You ain't shit.
You ain't shit.
He made an Instagram post just today.
He did. Are we going to read it?
Yeah, we should read it. Let's read it.
All right. So this is a long Instagram post.
Bear
but
with us.
He had to go off for all the haters. So this is what he said. Quote, "It's honestly wild how many miserable people are upset that I chose not to stay in a relationship that wasn't right for me."
You know I'm going to put a Toltec head on you while you're talking, right?
Please do.
Okay.
The narrative that I had led Britney on is just that, a narrative. She's a grown woman who could have left at any point. What you saw was me being real instead of forcing a marriage just to satisfy people watching from their couches. Was Britney my usual type? No, not particularly. Someone I probably wouldn't have approached in real life. But that doesn't equal hate. I've never boxed myself into a type, and my past speaks for itself. At the reunion, there was even a clip of her asking if I had dated a woman of color. I answered honestly, but like a lot of things, the full context wasn't shown. The people in that room saw it, and that's enough for me. What I'm not going to do is let podcasters and internet commentators create a false narrative. We're going to! Not one of them has reached out for a real conversation. That should tell you everything. They don't want truth. They want attention. And too many people online feed into drama and half stories. The reality is simple. Britney and I didn't work because what she needed and what I needed were fundamentally different. There were repeated moments of insecurity, constant comparisons to my past, and shifting expectations that made it clear we weren't on the same page. Even boundaries she set were later turned into criticisms, and that kind of inconsistency isn't something I'm willing to build a future on. That's just me being honest. At the end of the day, I came into this experience open, and I grew from it, and I learned to be more direct and to stop sacrificing my peace to keep others comfortable. And to the people speaking on my current relationship, mocking my partner, and even bringing up our future Toltec child, that's just sad. We as humans need to do better about judging people we've never met and had a real conversation with. I am happy, I am in love, and I can't wait to meet our baby. Have a blessed day. And for the people saying I downgraded, that's crazy, because clearly you haven't seen her. She is the most beautiful woman I have ever seen walk this planet, and what makes her even more beautiful is her heart and how she speaks about others in rooms they aren't in. I love you, baby, and no one could ever convince me otherwise. A diamond doesn't need to be reminded that anyone is a diamond. It just shines. I'm glad the journey led me to you.
Beatrice.
What?
Beatrice. That guy sucks so bad.
He sucks so bad.
It's great that you have all these opinions and thoughts about Britney and what wasn't working. But do you think, you big dunderhead, you could have maybe said something in the moment?
Hello?
To Britney? To let her know that you weren't feeling that, instead of stringing her along and telling her that you still loved her and you wanted to be engaged and you're not a quitter and all this bullshit? Do you think you could have just opened your fucking mouth and been honest and direct, you literal baby?
No. He literally can't. And that's what's so frustrating. It's like you want to say all of this shit and be like, oh, it's people aren't getting the full context. It's just a bad edit. And like, actually, I'm not racist. It's like, dude, it's not even about that. It's about the fact that you told Britney over and over again, like, we're going to stay engaged and I still want to be with you and everything. I just don't want to get married right now and blah, blah, blah. And then according to Britney on the reunion, you like strung out the relationship for weeks and weeks and weeks after that. Like, you can't be honest.
And that's the problem. Maybe even honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And maybe there was a conversation during the reunion about why you don't date black women. Like you don't say definitively in this Instagram post whether you have.
Yeah.
You just say it was addressed and don't worry, I'm just happy the people heard it in the room. But like you don't let us know what the answer to that is, which kind of tells me what the answer to that is. But it's just the fact that you can't handle your business like an actual man, a self-determining man who knows what he wants. Now, to his point or his accusation that there are people out there who are coming for his new girl and talking about how she looks and
That's
their baby.
terrible.
That is not okay.
Yeah.
Although we do stuff like
We
that.
do.
But I mean, we're entitled to. But I mean, like,
It's our job.
It is our job. That's what we were hired to do. But no, honestly, though, in all seriousness, like to people who, like, we don't know who this woman is. We haven't been able to judge her character or her behavior. So, like, we shouldn't be coming for her physical attributes or anything like that. That's nasty. That's
or his
rude.
Toltec baby. That's mean.
Or that is mean to call it baby a Toltec baby.
What?
Let's just hope the genetics err on the side of the mom.
Yeah, for real.
I can't stand dudes like this, man. It is so hard for you to take an ounce of responsibility for the terrible way that you treat other people. How can I trust you with anything that you say when I've seen how you've conducted yourself on this show? Like, get fucked and get the fuck off my television. I never want to see your Devonte body again.
Seriously.
God, I'm sorry I'm yelling. Look at those wavelengths.
I know.
I'm going crazy. This is why Amber has a rage problem.
Yeah.
Because of men like this. This is why Amber's a misandrist. Because of men like this, which she actually called out Chris for. In the moment, she's like, I mean, Jordan's not like Chris or anything.
Oh, yeah.
Like, fuck Chris and
Yeah,
fuck
I
Alex.
forgot
But
about
like,
that.
Jordan's not that way. But these are the kind of guys that give guys a bad rap.
Yeah, because it's like you're just putting all the blame on everybody else instead of looking at your own behavior.
And editing. Oh, like you just didn't see the real me because of the way they
please.
edited it. Well, I saw what you allowed them to capture on camera, though. I saw the things that you did say and the things that you did do.
Yeah, and all of the shit that you didn't say. Like, because you were giving us two different things, even in your, like, little one-on-ones that you had versus what you were telling Britney. Like, it was clear you were giving her bullshit because you didn't want to just have the hard conversation of, like, you know what, Britney, you're a nice girl. I'm just not feeling the vibes. I don't want to get married.
Period.
How
hard is that?
It's just say that.
It's one hard conversation. Be enough of not even man, just be enough of an adult to be able to have one hard conversation. I know you can do it, Devonte.
I mean,
Devo.
You were even lying to her dad. Like, her dad cried in front of you. Okay. I don't know why.
All
Cringe.
Right.
I don't know what
started on that, Dad.
people see in you, but like, you even lied to her father. Her father was like,
he is a liar. That is why.
Marriage is a big deal. You shouldn't get divorced. Like, we don't believe in that here.
Okay, but Brittany's dad, what have you taught your daughter that she's so deluded and crazy that she thinks marriage is the end all be all of her womanly existence? Like, what happened in your home that created a girl like this who was believing Devonte?
Yeah.
And that Devonte was her soulmate. Like, okay, there's a lot of conversations we can have. Let's just stop talking about Devonte because I hate him so much.
Sucks so bad. And it's really unfortunate that he found another girl so quickly and he's going to have a whole kid with her. And that's on that.
That's it.
So that's the end. That's the wrap of Love is Blind season 10. Did we grade this season yet?
Yeah, we did last time. We did. And I think I gave it a B+, you gave it a C something.
Yeah, I gave it a C+, because it was Love is Mid.
It is.
You know?
You know what I heard, though, is that they're going to have an ultimatum here shortly.
What? Is it a queer one, though? It's not, because the queer one got canceled.
The queer one was the best one out of them all. The queer one was the best one out of them all. But there's going to be another ultimatum. Do you want to cover it or not?
I might watch that because it is pretty messy. I do like that show because it's just people going on there to cheat.
Well, yeah, I'm giving you an ultimatum. Marry me or we're breaking up. And then you go and marry someone else for 3 weeks to see if it's okay to marry me. Like, that's just nothing but drama.
Crazy.
It's perfection.
It's like Temptation Island. So I am into it.
There's another Temptation Island starting in April. There is a Temptation Island from last year fully up there already that we could cover too.
Oh my God.
Anyway, there's a whole lot going on. But for now, what we are doing after Love is Blind, which we've just concluded, just so you know.
Yeah.
We've concluded
In
this.
case you know.
We've got Welcome to Plathville starting on March 31st. We're
can't wait.
continuing with our Sister Wives coverage.
Yeah.
We're watching The Substance on Patreon this month. We are also covering Little Women of LA, and they're wilding out. They are wilding out in
doing
LA.
booty dances and
There's
everything.
a lot that we're doing.
Yeah.
And so thank you guys for doing it with us. We truly appreciate it.
We do.
Beatrice, is there anything else that we want to say to these beautiful raccoons before we get up on out of here?
Well, if you love us as much as we love you, please show your gratitude and go to your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a glowing 5-star review. Really helps us grow the pod, and we would really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
We are not going to be here next week. We are taking a spring break.
Yeah, we got a party.
We're going to Panama City. We're going to be getting drunk. We're going to be putting on bikinis. I'm going to be showing my whole chocha, honey.
Oh my God.
My boobies and my chocha. I'm going to be out there just having fun. So I'm going to take a little bit of break. She's going to take a little bit of break.
Yeah.
We'll be back the week after to start Plathville and continue our Sister Wives journey. Until then, please do not forget that we have nothing but love for you, and peace out.
Bye.